Welcome to the Way of Biohacking. This is Dr. Tay, and this is...
Hi, I'm Linda, Nutritionist Yogini. What's up, what's up?
Hi everybody, it's Nikki, Wellness Intern.
And today's topic is recovery. Alright, yesterday, as of today's recording, was Thanksgiving, right? So what do we do for recovery? What is your routine? And there's a lot of recovery. It's a very broad topic. One, how do we recover from Thanksgiving? And I'll leave it blank open from partying to not exercising and all that stuff. So who wants to go first? Linda?
I'll start. Thanksgiving is a time people usually overindulge. And it could be alcohol, it could be food, anything related to that. I like to go to hydration. Hydration is really a key component to any type of recovery program. If you ever follow any type of recovery or feel like you need to recover from anything, staying properly hydrated, I'd say, is a good place to start. Not just with water, and making sure that you have plenty of B vitamins as well. Especially if you are drinking a lot, then you're probably peeing a lot as well. And making sure that you have proper mineral and vitamin supplementation along with it.
And for me, I get really bad hangovers. So what I would do is I'll drink tons of water right before I go to bed. It'll mitigate the symptoms a little bit. That's why I don't drink a lot, but I'll drink like 3-4 bottles of water, like just as much as I can before I go to bed. And in the morning, I'll take some stuff to help kind of boost my immune system, like vitamin D and stuff like that, because alcohol really affects the microbiome. And the microbiome affects your immune system. So I'll also take a probiotic to kind of help with the negative effects of alcohol. So I'll kind of do a bunch of stuff to fix what the alcohol damaged.
I like how you mentioned the probiotic. Part of my recovery plan, anytime I overeat or overindulge, is apple cider vinegar, which also, not necessarily a probiotic, but a prebiotic content, which feeds the healthy bacteria in your gut. I really find apple cider vinegar to help with my digestion. It's not for everybody. Some people complain of acid reflux. But scientifically looking into it, really when you introduce that type of acid to your digestive system notices that acid and will produce less additional acid.
So do you take that before meals, or like once in the morning, once at night?
So Dr. Tay recommended I take it before meals, but depending on how I feel after a meal, sometimes I feel a lot of inflammation in my throat, then I will also take an additional teaspoon or two with water before going to bed.
Yeah, on YouTube and a lot of the articles out there, they point out that people should be taking apple cider vinegar in the morning to boost up their metabolism, stuff like that. And yes, that is true. However, a good apple cider vinegar, I think it's called Bragg's that everybody gets.
Yeah, the unfiltered. Gotta get unfiltered.
The mother's gotta have the mother.
Not the Heinz chemical version of not that stuff. The unpasteurized, meaning the bacteria is still alive. When you consume that at night, it eats away all the sugars to grow that bacteria. So it lowers the sugar content in your body, lowers inflammation. It's great for people who suffer from acne, right? It lowers their chance because it eats away the sugar. It competes to eat the sugar with the bad bacteria. And it's got a lot of folic acid and a good spectrum of B vitamins. So if you look at your hands where your nails are, right? Right now, like I don't know if you can see it in the camera, my fingernails over here is beginning to like peel. That's like signs of vitamin B deficiencies. So I'm like overdue, and this is how I check my vitamin B levels to do that. What else do we do for recovery?
So this morning we had our team yoga practice. Yeah, so that was part of our team recovery. We just all got together and we did some detox yoga. And what I mean by that is we did lots of twists. I like to think of twists as kind of like wringing yourself out.
Yeah.
So squeezing out all those toxins and really finding a fresh reset.
Well, I didn't really overindulge on Thanksgiving. I didn't really up my carbs or anything like that. Nothing that'll make me feel bad. But I definitely ate a lot of meats and vegetables, a lot of Brussels sprouts. So to prepare for that, instead of anticipating a recovery, I prepared by eating a pretty small breakfast, and I didn't eat for the rest of the day until dinner, so that I wouldn't feel bloated and like I overate. So I only ate 2 meals yesterday, but the second one was a really big meal, one that I usually don't eat that much in.
All right, just to give people a general idea, what did you guys have for Thanksgiving?
I had hot pot.
Nice.
Hot pot is a very traditional Chinese way to gather, especially during the winter season. And usually you have raw meats that you cook in boiling broth. But because I'm pescatarian, I mostly do veggies, so it's very easy for me to digest. It just takes a little time. And yeah, that was one way that we got together as a family, was sharing hot pot.
What about you, Nikki?
I had lamb chops and a bunch of like half of a filet mignon roast, like,
Nice.
and a bunch of Brussels sprouts with bacon. So a lot different than what Linda had.
My buddy Mole came over and he cooked us a prime rib with butter, and I made mashed potatoes and a huge salad. Yeah, I think the salad was a big vegetable component, right? It was like a chimichurri slash salad because they put a lot of cilantro, parsley, fruits and vegetables, and I put in a lot of cinnamon. Yeah. All right. Now, let's talk about alcohol, right? We were touching on that topic, right? Nikki, you were saying about hydration right before you go to sleep, right?
I'll also do I do a probiotic. I said I'll take turmeric because usually I'll have like a headache.
Yeah.
So instead of taking like ibuprofen or something like that, I'll take turmeric. I'll take glutathione and selenium for the immune boost also, because it really wrecks your immune system. Alcohol is really bad. I don't drink it much. It's really, really bad.
Did you have alcohol last night?
No.
Oh, okay.
I usually will have maybe I'll drink like once a month.
Okay.
But when I do, it's usually not a lot, and I'll prepare for it because I know how terrible it is.
What about you, Linda?
I'm also a very light drinker, but I did used to live in New Orleans, where drinking is a really prominent part of culture. And yeah, really the hydration part. I once visited Singapore, and a late night spot that we would go to was a place where you get bak kut teh, which is a type of herbal bone broth. And I found that to be so revitalizing. And I know a lot of Asians the next morning after drinking would also go for some stew or some pho. These things that are made with bone broth are very, very good for recovery because of the antioxidants in the bone broth, and something warm and soothing for your digestive system.
I always thought like collagen is really good because like the dehydration like eats away all the collagen. So when there's like a broth, like pho has like some sort of collagen built into it. What about like lemon? A lot of people do the lemon thing. How do you guys feel about that?
When I used to take apple cider vinegar, I would add lemon to it, and I'll still add lemon to my water. I'll add lemon and a little bit of salt, and some magnesium. But as far as like how it helps me recover, I've never noticed anything and I probably wouldn't drink it after I would go out for a night of drinking because of the acidity of it.
Yeah,
I would be worried it would further harm my gut bacteria after drinking, so I'd probably avoid it. But I think in general lemon water is a fine thing to do. It helps with the pH levels of the water. It kind of makes the water more alive.
So what I've done is after drinking, I notice sometimes my voice will get very coarse. Usually paired drinking with being in a loud environment and I'm constantly screaming. That's probably where it comes from. So when I go home, I actually mix honey lemon water. And that's something I would also have before going to bed. Just the lemon provides electrolytes that also helps in the recovery process.
No, your lemon thing.
The honey.
Honey. One of the things that, from a supplement perspective, I usually help people recover from. Like, there was this one scenario where my buddy Misha, and he brought a friend over. I'm not going to mention who, but she just launched her podcast, and there was a huge party over it, and she was nice enough to come over for a meeting, and she was in recovery mode. And one of the things that I had was, like, one of the key ingredients called rhodiola, which helps the kidneys and the adrenal glands, and also this active ingredient in milk thistle, which is called silymarin, which is great for the liver. Silymarin, in a lot of the research, it has shown to help the hepatocells, the liver cells, replicate a lot better without inflammation in the liver. So that's a huge component. And then, of course, whenever there's alcohol involved, there's level of hydration. But one thing that the brain craves, aside from hydration, is omega-3s. A lot of omega-3s, like good fats, eating that to help recover the thing.
And I think that ties into inflammation. When I wake up the next morning from a night of drinking, I just feel like inflamed. Like my knees will hurt, like my joints will hurt. I'm just like, my inflammation is just generally up. So I forgot, I usually do take omega-3 capsules.
Yeah.
And also trying to rest, making sure that you're taking care of your physical body, allowing yourself time to rest, especially with aging. I noticed, like, after I hit the 21 mark, hangovers were getting very real. I couldn't just keep on pushing through, and I actually had to lay down and take some downtime for my entire, like, mind, body, soul to reset.
Yeah, I think hangovers are getting a lot worse to recover as we age. I definitely feel that from time to time. Yeah.
Let's talk about recovering from sickness. Tay, what's been going on with you?
Oh man, where do I begin? So I got sick for the first time in my 13-year career. I never called in sick for the past 13 years, and this year I had to call in sick. So I didn't catch COVID, because I know this because I got tested like multiple times. And believe it or not, I got sick from eating popcorn. And I think, coming home late at night, trying to like rest, and I was indulging on popcorn that my wife bought. And I guess I was like shoving it down my throat. And it cut the back of my throat. And it created this inflammation. So I was like, all right, let me take some, antibacterial, antiviral herbs. And then the swelling got worse, and I should have gone to urgent care and got some antibiotics, but then I'm like trying to tough it through. It kind of like stressed my body to the point where it lowered my immune system, and after taking the antibiotics, my fever got worse. So I went to urgent care again, and the doctor said I had chickenpox because I had these like blisters occurring in my ear, and that ended up becoming shingles. Oh man, shingles is... Never had it. I've seen my patients have it over the years, but to really experience it, it's not like high level of pain. It's just that it's painful in low grade throughout the whole day, not ending for like 2-3 weeks.
Wow.
And that's why my voice is still in recovery. Like, everybody hears it. And like I gotta explain to everybody, like, oh, I don't have COVID. It's this old shingle thing. I called in sick. Yeah. So I think from that perspective, I've been really trying to recover. And thanks to everybody I work with, they really like, hey, you gotta take it easy. And the number one thing that has been getting me better is sleep. Yeah, I've been going to sleep around like 10 p.m. on the dot every single day, except for last night.
So, I think last Friday when I left early, I think once I woke up from the neurofeedback, I felt like nauseous. Like I didn't feel good. I was like, oh, am I about to throw up? And then...
What the hell was that?
And then my stomach was just really bothering me. so I went home, and I think I had some type of... I never threw up, but I had like really loose stools, and they just didn't look right. So I thought I had some type of GI infection. So I fasted at 24. I did a 24-hour fast, and then I went on allicin, which is a garlic extract.
Lecithin, yeah.
Yeah. Oregano oil and ginger, which was... I talked to Tom about it, and he recommended that. And a few days it was gone. My digestion since still isn't where I would like it to be, but I'm still recovering. But I recovered pretty quickly.
Okay.
The infection, I think, cleared up fast.
Yeah, ginger is a huge component when it comes to diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
Ginger has the ability to detoxify the body. At the same time, lecithin, which is the key active ingredient in garlic, and you could take like lots of pills of lecithin and not give off that post-garlic body odor, I guess, right? So that's really good for recovery. And ginger, because it's warm, it has the ability to harmonize the stomach and actually prevent from people getting the ongoing diarrhea right away. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten sick in a while now. The last time I remember being very sick was after traveling. I came back from mainland China, and I was just going through similar to what Tay's going through. I had this whole like viral infection. I lost my voice completely. I couldn't even talk for a few days. It was really intense. I was going through the most. And I have had to rest. I drank a lot of honey with water for my throat, and really had to change my entire diet. At the time, I just moved back to New York City. I was meeting up with a lot of friends. I was drinking a lot of alcohol. I was going to happy hours, eating a lot of fried foods. So the inflammation was just off the roof. So I really had to be really mindful of what I put into my body. I started steaming everything I ate.
Okay.
And that made such a huge difference. And even to this day now, I am still very sensitive to fried foods and alcohol. If I eat fried foods, I will have a breakout in acne. I have really dry lips. So I have to be very mindful in what I eat. So I choose lots of very high fluid foods. So I choose a lot of soups, a lot of stews, try steaming my food to retain the moisture content as opposed to like baking or grilling.
I heard that like if you steam your vegetables, the vegetables releases more vitamins and minerals. Is that right?
So not necessarily release more, but it retains it. So usually if you're like slow cooking, a lot of the minerals and vitamins could leak out into the liquid that you're cooking in. Okay. So if you're tossing that liquid, then a lot of the B and C water soluble vitamins get lost in it. So steaming it helps retaining. Usually like stir fry, where you're exposing it to heat for a short amount of time, also helps retain the mineral vitamin content.
Yeah, I think as part of this holiday recovery, I didn't even eat that much because my portions have gotten really small. Like what is that? Mold made this prime rib that was, oh my god, out of this world. And my daughter was saying, this is delicious. This is delicious. And she never says anything like that when she's eating dinner. So like we're like, wow, she really likes it. And like other than the mashed potatoes, I think like we all use like organic ingredients, but like it was heavy because of the heavy cream component and butter. But like this morning, normally if it was like, mashed potatoes from like some other place where they use like bad oils, bad butter, higher in omega-6 content, I think that would have made me like more sluggish today. And I think if people were to just hydrate, could eat fats, do yoga, breath work, just like we did today, just for recovery, I think that's a great way. But I think one of the key things that people should be aware about, because drinking, hydrating with water, all these things are great, but I think supplementation, things like rhodiola, milk thistle, is something that people should get access to. Is there any specific things that you do aside of supplements, or like teas that you guys do to help recovery?
Well, when I recently got, I guess I got sick, but when I got that infection, I have peppermint tea, which I really like, just because it tastes really good. And I peeled ginger and cut up ginger and put it into the peppermint tea, And I also did bone broth for the collagen, the gut health, and I put a scoop of beef gelatin into the bone broth to give it that kind of like sticky, like gut elasticity. And I also I upped my fiber,
Okay.
and I did but not like I didn't take like fiber supplement. I ate avocado.
Mm-hmm.
I did like a half of avocado. This is a good recipe. I've been doing it like every morning. It tastes really good. I'll do half an avocado in a blender, and then maybe like a cup of coconut cream.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's really chunky kind of. It's like coconut flesh and milk, and then a few blueberries, and I'll blend it, and it makes this like avocado coconut pudding.
Okay.
It's like really high fiber. It tastes really good. It's not really sweet,
Okay.
but it tastes really good. And I did that to up my fiber, and like yesterday I had Brussels sprouts. So I've been doing the coconut every day, mainly now because it tastes really good.
Coconut's got that MCT oil
Yeah,
thing
that too.
going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys tried like the bulletproof coffee and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I used to do like bulletproof espresso because I like espresso more than coffee, so I'll do like a tablespoon of grass-fed butter into it. I also add grass-fed butter into that avocado and coconut, but I forgot about it. I'll do like a tablespoon of butter in it, and it tastes
Nice.
really good.
One of the best places I've tried bulletproof coffee in New York, it's a coffee shop called Etto's, spelled E-T-T-O. They used to have one location in, where is that? In Long Island City, but they moved their operation to, I think, by Howard Beach now. If you guys ever want to check that place out, like they get the best bulletproof coffee, and they use like grass-fed butter. They use the MCT oil from, where is that? From Bulletproof themselves. They got the portions right, and these people like whoever put that coffee together, like they really know their coffee beans, because to get that bulletproof coffee taste is really difficult unless you've been to the actual bulletproof place. The one time I went to California with my wife and my mother-in-law, we drove through LA traffic just to get to the bulletproof coffee site. And my wife is like, I can't believe you made us sit through LA traffic so that you could try this one coffee. I'm like, I'm never in California. I don't want to try this bulletproof coffee. And this place, Etto's Coffee Shop, like really got the recipe down. And have you guys tried bulletproof coffee without the MCT oil, but just coconut oil?
No.
Usually coconut oil will give me some GI problems.
Okay.
I saw it's not just me. It seems to be a lot of people are sensitive to coconut oil, and I'm also really after alcohol the next day, my GI problems just kind of skyrocket. I already have IBS, but they get really bad. So I don't do MCT oil or coconut oil. That's why I'll just do grass-fed butter.
Okay. Yeah, because oil tends to be very acidic, right? So if you just eat a concentrated form and you happen to have a sensitive GI system, that could do that. Yeah. But for me, like 1 tablespoon of like coconut oil will just get me out of that brain fog from time to time, especially when I eat like fried chicken wings. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about recovery from fried chicken wings, right? Because they have really good fried chicken wings, and if you know Korean food, they're taking over the fried chicken business.
For sure.
What was the last fried chicken wings that you've had?
Like I said, I used to live in New Orleans,
Okay.
so fried chicken was my thing. That was one of the hardest things to give up, transitioning to, at the time, vegetarian diet. So I'll talk about recovery about that specifically. I drink a lot of herbal teas.
Okay.
And I really like to combine chrysanthemum, which is cooling, honeysuckle, which is detoxifying and cooling, and then sometimes I'll add some goji berries and rose petals for good measure.
Okay, cool.
So I like Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
And I know that they cook in beef tallow.
Okay.
So it's not as bad as like cottonseed oil or canola oil, but it's probably grain-fed beef tallow,
Yeah.
So it's probably pretty high omega-6. So when I'll get home, I'll take omega-3 supplement to kind of rebalance my omega-3s and omega-6s.
My go-to for chicken wing recovery, because I go to this place in Bell Boulevard called Mad for Chicken. That's my go-to spot for fried chicken wings. And whenever I eat that stuff, like, I always regret it because I know, like, what I'm putting into my mouth, but it's so good, right? And next morning I get that, like, dried lips, like that dehydration. And usually I try to soak up chia seeds. So, like, the seeds, like, the gelatin comes out of the seeds when you soak it overnight.
High omega-3 as well.
Yeah, very high in omega-3s, and that usually does the trick for me. Yeah.
Okay, I never heard about that, but yesterday I actually made chia pudding,
Okay.
which goes really well along with Nikki's recipe. I just soaked, well, actually, this is the first time I did this. I boiled the chia just because I've been really studying how Chinese people do cooking and Chinese nutrition, and they really don't eat raw things.
Yeah.
So I boiled the chia for less than 5 minutes, and then it fully expanded.
Okay.
And then I soaked it in coconut milk. So it's super creamy. It comes out to that pudding consistency, and then I added a little bit of vanilla extract, a little bit of maple syrup just for flavor, and of course salt, because the salt brings out the sweetness and things. And yeah, I served it with persimmon and pomegranates because those are in season now. And that was my little breakfast parfait yesterday.
Sounds good.
That sounds
I might add chia seeds to my avocado coconut. Maybe that'll make too much fiber. That might give me a stomach ache. But
I always think like the fried chicken, whatever, or like fried foods, like, or when I go out and eat the high in omega-6 content, I always try to balance it out with like good fats next day or like good omega-3s. Yeah, and chia seeds have, for me, always been like a good balancer. Yeah.
I like flax also.
Flax.
I like chia more, but I have like a little peanut butter. I like peanut butter. I don't eat it a lot because it's so high omega-6, but it tastes so good. So I bought flax oil and I squirted a bunch of flax oil into the peanut butter and I mix it up because flax is so high omega-3, peanut butter is so high omega-6 to kind of balance it so it's not as bad.
Okay.
So it's like a little peanut butter hack, I guess, but it still tastes really good. It tastes like peanut butter, but it's not so high omega-6. The
I got a lot of flaxseed oil. I never thought about mixing it with. I gotta try it. I gotta try this.
If you like peanut butter or any like high omega-6 nut butter, just squirt some flax into it. It definitely tastes more fruity. Flax oil is very fruity tasting to me. So it adds, it changes the taste a little bit, but it still tastes like peanut butter.
That's funny you say that because I used to sprinkle flax powder over my peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Oh, really?
So a little tip for choosing chia and flax seeds. First, when you buy it in powder form or grounded form, it ups the absorbability. Because when you think about seeds, they're very high fiber. A lot of them just pass through your digestive system. So getting it ground helps the absorbability of the omega-3s. And then also, if you are making pudding, I like to call flax the poor man's chia because it has very similar nutrition profile, but it's considerably cheaper than chia seeds.
Okay.
Do not make pudding with flax seeds because it comes out like snot. So, pro tip. It does not congeal in the way chia does. It comes out very slimy.
Like, I've eaten chia seeds, like in cereal and stuff like that, and I always feel like I'm not getting the benefits of chia unless like really chew it down. Like, I think it's just coming out of my poop just the way I ate it. So like ever since then I got that feeling. I've been soaking it. Yeah, like I usually soak it overnight. Like take a handful, put it in water, go to sleep, wake up, and I'll use that cup to pour in whatever, like water with lemons and stuff like that. Water and lemons, stuff like that, right? Does anybody do structuring the water?
Tell us more, Tai.
Okay. So I bought this little contraption, right, on the website, because when I first heard about like structuring water, you don't know what it is, you don't know how to do it, right? So like that little contraption thing cost me like $350. And I was like, oh my god, this is so expensive. I'm gonna get yelled at by my wife once she finds out how much this thing really is. Hope she's not watching this episode. And yeah, like this is so great because when you structure the water, water in nature always spins, and water always finds their way through like crevices between rocks, and like the water molecules always like aggregate and like you refine it. Just like sand, if you put it to a filter, like it comes out of this like soft, earth and sand and stuff like that. water is the same thing. We drink water that comes from plumbing based on, pressure. And then when the water comes into our cup, it's like they come in clumps of water. And that water won't be able to be absorbed, just like, whenever you break things down, you absorb it better. And that's what you're doing to the water. The water molecules are like more separated, I guess. And the more separated they are and less clumped they are, you absorb it better. And one of the ways that I knew that structured water was really good for you is when I started feeding the plants in my house with structured water. They would grow up so much bigger, straighter. They're able to hold more water. And this is a cheat. You buy a funnel, right? Like a plastic funnel, and you get a sack of like a cheesecloth, and then you throw in marbles in there, and then you close it, and then you take the funnel with the marbles in the bag, and then you funnel the water into that. And this literally cost me like less than $12 to make, which definitely beats like the $350 contraption, right? And whenever I drink structured water from like recovery from alcohol and stuff like that, it's so much better, like the way you feel. And you can muscle test yourself before and after you drink structured water. So people who drink alcohol, yeah, they're drinking like bottled water, and I know so many people who drink bottled water. If they were to structure their water, like at least even spin the water in the bottled water and then spin it the opposite, so like the molecules like breaks up the clumps, right? That's one way. Have you tried structuring water?
You taught me before in terms of spinning it in my own bottle, but I'm going to try the marble and funnel at home.
I think I'll bring my contraption if you ever come over, or like we'll test this out before and after.
When you said structured water, I thought you meant like adding minerals to it. And so I didn't know you meant the actual structure of the molecules. And you mentioned how water passes through rocks and everything like that. I don't know what law it is, but there's some scientific law that whenever two things touch, there's always a transfer of materials.
Yes.
So when water passes through streams and rocks, it picks up a lot of minerals. And we don't have that in bottled water that we drink today.
Yeah. So one of the key things that I emphasize to all my patients, right? Because like you said, like water will bind to minerals in nature, right? But we drink filtered water, right? So filtered water, when we're putting it in, as it's leaving our bodies, binding to all these minerals and ions, right? So we're losing minerals, right? And one of the key minerals that is missing in people's lives is magnesium. Magnesium, from what I understand, is the centerpiece for chlorophyll. And blood has the exact same chemical structure as chlorophyll, but the centerpiece for blood happens to be iron, right? So like modern people who are in a standard American diet, if they were to go eat fast food, they're eating all this like bad oils, omega-6 content, sugar, the carbonic acid that pushes the sugar and the fats into the wrong crevices of the body. And maybe they'll get like one piece of lettuce, tomato, and pickle is like pickled in like sugar, and the ketchup is all like high fructose corn syrup, right? So like you just can't win that way, right? So like people, they're like, I think the going rate is like 90% of Americans are some sort of magnesium deficient.
I was magnesium deficient, and I got kidney stones from it, I think. And I also used to wake up in the middle of the night with cramps in my calves.
Yeah.
And I looked that up, and everyone said it was a sign of magnesium deficiency. So ever since then, I've been supplementing with magnesium.
You know what's a great way to put a lot of magnesium in the body?
How?
We've done it. You and I did it.
Not the drops.
Not the drops. One is Epsom salt bath, right? Because which leads to float tanks.
Oh.
Yeah. So Linda and I went to this great place called Floatopia, right? And basically they have these like chambers. You like wash up and you go in, and you're literally floating on 10 inches of water that's been filled with like 1,200 pounds of like salt, so it like keeps you afloat. And the magnesium, when you're floating in that thing, like it absorbs into your skin. That's why like the muscles, they relax, and it keeps you relaxing more. And then like you get into that like Zen state, right? So I usually recommend what is that? A lot of people take magnesium as a supplement in the pill format, and I'm like, you should take it in liquid format. I always believe in liquid format, if not magnesium creams that they have, and that's a great way to absorb magnesium.
I know that if you overdo it with magnesium, it'll cause diarrhea.
Yes.
Especially magnesium citrate. I bought magnesium citrate for the first like magnesium supplement, not knowing that, and it gave me diarrhea. I take pills of magnesium glycinate, and I haven't had any problems with it. I do 400 milligrams a day.
Yeah, a lot of the pooping aids, the laxatives, right? Yeah, either it comes in some sort of magnesium salt, or if not, some sort of oils, right? There's many ways to create laxative situations, people with constipation, right? And also laxatives are abused by a lot of people, right? I think I've encountered a patient that I couldn't successfully treat because I think it was she had a combination of anorexia and bulimia, right? She didn't have any top row teeth because like she threw up so much over the years that the acid ate away through her teeth and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's people with like, eating disorders that that they need, like, I think it was beyond the scope of like herbs and acupuncture or any of the help that I could provide. I think this person eventually needed to go through like talk therapy or some sort of like psychotherapy or things like that, right? All right.
Let's talk about exercise recovery. Since we talked about exercise before, we mentioned sleep. Nikki, what do you do post-workout for recovery?
Well, I'll usually have a high-protein meal. Today I worked out, and I came home, and there was hard-boiled eggs. I think I ate 3 egg yolks. I don't eat the whites, even though I know there's protein in them. But there's a amino acid called albumin in egg whites, and that's what usually gives people like GI upset, is the albumin in egg whites. So I don't eat egg whites. So I had 3 egg yolks, and then I had chomp sticks. You ever heard? It's a grass-fed, grass-finished beef sticks, and I had 2 of them, and then I had my coconut avocado concoction. So, and then another way I'll recover is I really emphasize my sleep. I'll go to bed earlier. I'll really try to have a good REM sleep, because that's when your body will help recover, produce the most cells for recovery, is in your sleep. That's why, you cut your hand, you'll grow a scab, and it'll heal the most overnight when you're sleeping. Your body produces the most cells then.
Whenever I work with clients and we're doing heavy breathwork practice, I talk to them about keeping hydrated before the practice, making sure you come to practice hydrated, and making sure that you're drinking adequate water throughout the day after practice as well. Personally, if I'm doing something intense, let's say I went on like a longer hike, or I've been doing more exercises that require me to move muscularly, I do use CBD as part of my recovery, just to help relax the muscles, and usually making sure I eat a combination of carbs and protein after exercising, an adequate meal.
That too, I'll typically have a few berries. I don't eat a lot of carbs, but maybe like a handful, 4, 5, 6 blueberries, just to restore my glycogen.
Like for me, like, I don't know, I feel dehydrated. I didn't drink enough water today. But one thing that's like lingering in my mind is I do want to get into a 72-hour fast. I haven't done that in a while, right? I think this whole pandemic situation really put me out of my element, where I got off my intermittent fasting because I was home all the time. I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my daughter, and now that I'm going back into the swing of things, and I really want to do a 72-hour fast, because like after the 72-hour fast, I really feel clean in terms of my GI tract. And like currently because I was on antibiotics, antiviral, like for the first time in my life ever, I've experienced what people call like constipation. Like, it's not fun sitting there like, when is this gonna
I have the opposite problem.
So I'm like, I gotta get more fats up before I go to sleep to lubricate my bowels and stuff like that. The magnesium thing, no matter how much I take, it's not helping. But like, I definitely feel the need to like reset my immune system and set my GI system correctly, because I think there's all these bad things in my GI system now that doesn't need to be there. And one of the things I did for recovery from getting sick was I ate a ton of probiotic food. I didn't eat the spicy kimchi. I ate the white kimchi. And just to like cover my base, I don't want to eat from the same white kimchi from H Mart. So like I went through different like markets
to get the best bacterial mix.
Yeah. And I got that, and I was doing the Korean fermented soybean paste soup. Like they have the regular soybean paste, but they have the in Korean it's called 청국장, right? Which is like the super ultra rich probiotic, like stinky thing. And I had that for like 4 days in a row, and it was stinking up the kitchen. But that's what I did for recovery.
Now, probiotic foods are interesting. I used to do like a tablespoon of sauerkraut every day, and then I ran out of whatever brand I had, and I had a new brand. It was different brand, and I started doing that, and I started to not feel good. Like it was bothering my stomach. It would bother I had brain fog, and I realized that it was right when I switched out my sauerkraut. So I just kind of stopped eating that. And I haven't been able to find a sauerkraut or a fermented food that made me feel like really good as the first one did. So I just take a probiotic.
Okay.
I want to go back to recovering from exercise, just really listening to your body, being kind to yourself, of course choosing the right foods to replenish yourself post-workout, but also listening to see if you need a rest day. A lot of people really try to push through and be like, I'm on this like exercise binge, but really taking the time to rest your body, doing more restorative work. I really recommend restorative yoga poses that give you a lot of support, so that way you're doing deep stretching and deep breathing. I think that should be a part of people's recovery plans.
And one thing I'd like to mention is soreness. When I'm sore, that tells me that I think I went too hard that day. I try to never be sore when I work out.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people hate going to the gym, or they hate exercises because they get sore.
Yeah.
So I think when I've doing this for a while, I work out to the point where I can kind of tell, like, all right, if I don't want to push too hard, I'll be sore tomorrow. And it makes you kind of love going to the gym. I don't get sore. I kind of fall in love with it. And when I do get sore, I'm like, oh, this stinks. So don't push yourself too hard to the point where you're not going to be able to get out of bed tomorrow because you can't feel your arms or your legs.
And also choosing the right nutrition post-workout also helps with preventing the ultra soreness, making sure you're choosing high-quality proteins to help your muscle recover.
I mean, when I was in college, I was hanging out with a bunch of meatheads, I guess. Our goal was to feel sore, right? And so that's very interesting because Tom talks about this, and I know he knows a lot about, exercise and stuff like that. But one thing I do want to mention about the exercise recovery, a lot of people diversify their body parts, like biceps today, triceps tomorrow, and then you got to throw in a leg day during the week, right? And what is that?
Can't skip leg day.
Huh?
Can't skip leg day.
Yeah, you can't skip leg day, right? But
every day is leg day in yoga.
But one thing that it comes down to is that every day you're working out, your liver is working out every single day. So like the going ratio is like, if you work out 3 days in a row, on the fourth day, regardless of which body you're working out, you shouldn't be working out, because this way you're giving your liver a chance to recover.
Yeah, I only do 3 days a week, just so I get the most amount of. I'll do a full body 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, And like a lot of people, when I tell them that, like people my age, like, oh, only 3 days a week, like how are you supposed to build muscle? Like just 3 days a week. But they don't understand like recovery could be more important than actually as far as building, could be just as important as the workout.
I mean, I started doing, what is that? Aerial yoga on Thursday nights. Friday I do yoga with Linda. And Saturday I teach my Unify class. So that's like 3 days in a row. I gotta say, teaching those 3 classes, working out as participation in it, I gotta say I am building muscles. Yeah. All right. That's it for today's recovery podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes, and please like, share, and give us a feedback. We got great feedback on my telephone messages, right? One of our beloved mutual friends, Laura.
Oh, she called you too.
She
calls me after every
beautiful
episode.
Message, right? That was like so inspiring. Linda, I gotta have you listen to it because like what we're doing here, people are really liking it, right? People really like this topics.
Shout out to you, Mrs. L. You're the best. We love you.
Yes, love you too. Love you too. And stay tuned for more episodes as the end of the year approaches. Stay safe and be happy. And until next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.
Bye-bye.